Welcome to another 5 and 10 from CrashBay.com, coming to you from the Lone Star State of Texas, featuring Kevin Taylor of Maaco, Houston, our first US-based shop. We went a little longer on this one as we pave the way into the US market. Enjoy the interview. Hi, everybody. This is John Harvey from CrashBay.com coming at you with another 5 and 10. I have with me Kevin Taylor of Maaco, Houston, in the beautiful state of Texas. Kevin, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you, John. Thanks for having me. It's my pleasure.
Well, you know what? I'm really excited to have you as our first US shop to be featured in the 5 and 10 platform. You're ready for your 5 and 10, Kevin?
I'm ready to do it.
Excellent. So why don't you just start off by giving us an introduction of your business and a bit about your background in the industry?
Sure. Yeah. Thanks. Again, thanks, John, for having me. It's a pleasure to be invited to do this. And I love talking shop and talking to this business. I really, really love it. So I'm Kevin Taylor. I own Maaco Collision Repair in Northwest Houston.
Okay.
And this is my second location. I got introduced to the business in 2005 at the ripe age of 24 years old. Our second location here, bigger and badder and all that good stuff. This shop here specifically, I opened in 2009. I bought an existing franchisee, and since then, the last 10 years or so, we've grown by about 5 times in revenue. I bought the shop, I had like 6 employees, and we had like between 24 and 26 all the time. We've just tried to be really aggressive and forward thinking for our industry. We had about 18,000 square foot of workspace here. And in 2013, I think it was, iCar came to a small group of franchise owners and said, hey, we think you guys could shift from being a paint shop to getting into the collision side. And we spent the last several years after that making our focus training, certifications, technology, and all of that. And I was really proud to, not just become an iCar Gold facility and have all iCar Platinum employees, but to get all the advanced welding certificates, all the advanced structural stuff. Last year, we were named one of the few and one of the first diamond certified facilities within the Maaco chain, which essentially is one of their top certification that says you're capable of all collision, all fleet makes, models. We have a truck facility on site too, so we do oversized truck facility, oversized truck vehicles, and oversized structural work. We can do that as well.
Wow.
And so we had a really good opportunity here, and I think that we're doing what we can, and I think we've done a pretty good job taking advantage of it. And I've had a really, really good time building this staff, building this crew, building these managers, and it looks like we've had some really good stability over the last 10 or so years in a business that there seems to be a lot of turnover, and we seem to have had kind of the opposite response since we started going this direction.
Well, that's a great intro, Kevin, and there's certainly a lot there. It sounds like you've invested heavily in your business and your people to kind of stand out as a best-in-class operator, and your reputation precedes you. With all the things that you've done to prepare yourself to be, that best-in-class operator, there's so many things that you can plan for and you can achieve. But we're in a time right now that really is difficult to plan for and predict. And with this COVID-19 reality we're living through, how have you been able to respond to that as a business that wasn't in anybody's business plans for 2020?
Yeah, John, I like how you put that, because first of all, COVID-19 is scary for any business, but especially a small business. When this thing happened, no one could prepare for this. I think we were set up pretty well to deal with it, being that, like I said, in the last 10 years, I don't know, way more than a dozen awards. I don't know how many awards we've won the last 10 years. And, we're one of the largest shops in the chain. But as far as COVID-19, we're probably maybe the largest Maaco in the country, or in North America, that doesn't primarily do DRP work. So when COVID-19 happened in our industry, a lot of the shops, a lot of the facilities, a lot of the big NSOs were very dependent on relationships that then could not produce a large amount of work. You see a lot of shops that are 50, 60, 70% one customer to provide for them.
Yeah.
And when those customers go away, they don't have it.
Hmm.
We have no customer here that's larger than 10% of our business. And that's a big customer. That'd be like a municipality. That'd
Yeah.
be a really large corporation. We've never depended on one customer to be that large of a customer, to be that percentage of our business.
Yeah.
As far as COVID-19 though,
Hmm.
I was just setting it up to tell you, when this whole thing broke out, very scary.
Yeah.
A lot of uncertainty. First thing I wanted to do, this is before the government, before SBA, before PPP was ever even a word anyone talked about with this in regard to this. But I just said, we're going to have a lot of open communication with everyone, with not just the managers, but with the staff, the crew, with everybody. And I called everyone together several times, even in the first week, and addressed that good. And we're going to get through all of this. But we're going to, not only survive, I want to thrive in this. Second, right when the whole thing kicked off, I had several managers, staff, and crew members whose either spouse, immediate family member, or, parent, relative, whatever, had been laid off within the first week. And it was a very scary time for them. So again, before SBA, before PPP, before any of that was even a terminology we used, I called everybody together and said, look, my goal is to keep everyone here, irregardless of what happens to the business. If I have to pay for it out of my own pocket, I'm going to try to do that. I'm going to try to float the situation if I can. And right then, John, everything flipped. We didn't have a scared mentality in our shop.
Wow.
My office wasn't scared. My staff wasn't scared. My crew in the back, they weren't scared. And we used it as an opportunity to create some processes, implement some inefficiency changes that we could make, and just evaluate inefficiencies in general.
Yeah.
And everyone was on board because not anyone was worried about being let go that day.
What's interesting is I recently listened to a business leader talk about, in times like this of crisis, the importance of clarity and communication, because in clarity and communication comes calmness. It removes the uncertainty and some of the fear that people have, and a lot of people fearful of losing their jobs. So for you to step out like that is a very courageous thing to do as a leader, and to reassure your people is very admirable. And I hope it's an example that a lot of business leaders follow. I love that you took it to that place. And everybody's answer to that question is a little bit different. I'm going to shift gears to a follow up to that. What process improvements, specifically around process improvements or innovations, have come out of COVID? You adapting to the situation, that you've identified as these are going to be permanent elements within my business that I'm going to retain because they're actually improvements.
Good question. First, I'm one of those. I'm one of the owners. The way I run my business is I like trial and error anyway.
Right.
And I've always, every day when we talk, we have a meeting, we'll talk about these jobs, this coming out, cycle time. Half of everything I'm always talking about is areas for opportunity for improvement all the time, and everything we do. We are really great at some things, John. Really great at it.
Yeah.
But I don't need a breakdown in something to say we can improve it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not scared to fail in an improvement. I'm not scared to try something and not work, and just detach myself from trying to make improvements all the time. It didn't work. We all saw it didn't work. Maybe we can evaluate that a different way. Maybe we can come up with a different improvement that will avoid the pitfalls of what we were trying to do there.
Right.
And I think that because we have so much open communication, and I'm not worried about a staff member here being critical of a decision I've made, if it is to change the process. Hey, we don't, Kevin, as an employee, I see what you're trying to do, and I don't think it'll work because of this, or I don't think it will work because of this. And I'm not going to get irritated by that. I want to have the open communication.
Yeah.
Specifically during COVID, we've already been offering services that were really beneficial in COVID as a way to grow our company and as a way to provide services to our customers that other people don't do. I already had a fleet of drivers. I already had regiments for ride sharing to be set up on the shop and get people anywhere, anytime, immediately. We don't spend time doing it. Nothing inefficient, nothing like that, right?
Yeah.
And so I already had that going. And so through this process, we already have lean carts, we already have return racks, and And the guys we have here, no one is allowed to really work here with one job description.
Hmm.
It's just what the shop needs. And so as this whole thing evolved, we had people that were already used to doing different roles based on the needs of the shop and not their comfort level or any of that. I don't get involved in that. My comfort
Yeah.
level is what makes the shop better, not anything else. But I tell them that when we get hired, if you're working here, you already understood that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so between increasing our driver staff, the people that will be driving, delivering pickups of vehicles, communication between our staff, people that are transporting vehicles, we already had that down. So we just increased it. And then we've already done, because we deal with so many national fleet companies, we've always done electronic estimating, electronic filing. Every vehicle we've ever done here that was billed or was a national fleet for 3 years, we have every photo of it, every receipt, every invoice, and every paid receipt, all saved in a file. If they need anything, it goes in an auction, or if they sell to another company, I can just send the file over what we did.
You've laid a foundation, and there's so many components of that you can pull from in a situation like this, because we can't predict the unpredictable. We can't predict if there's going to be another pandemic or catastrophe down the road. But if you take the time to build those fundamentals, which is what I'm hearing here that you've done, you can weather the storm and get through some of these trialing times.
Yes, you're right about that. Of course, we did things like we ripped all the floors out in the paint booths, replaced them, painted.
Yeah.
I was really proud of my guys. We decided we were going to do the whole parking lot, paint the building, trim, and all the office stuff. So we did all of that. First couple of weeks, we were really slow.
Yeah.
But I said, look, if you guys will if we can work on improving the shop, I'm just going to keep everybody on anyway.
Right.
And so that's what we did. But we decided we were going to stripe the parking lot. So I got the striper and we did all this stuff, and we're on like 2 acres, and so it's a pretty big undertaking to do all this. And when we did that, we had already tried and failed a couple of times to organize cars in storage and cars that are in inventory and cars that are being currently worked on in process to be parked and labeled in certain areas based on where they're parked and based on signage and documentation on that vehicle. But when we got slow, it was really easy to do because we could move things around and try stuff. And so we really created some really good efficiencies for the shop for vehicles that are in storage, ones that are completed, ones that are in process. And that is really nice because you're not creating work for people. You're removing distractions from them doing their job. They don't need to worry about now they have a clear mind. They can just think and work.
So it sounds like you've used this situation as a continuous improvement moment, as an opportunity to upskill your business, to work on things that a lot of business owners say, I don't have time for continuous improvement because I'm too busy. And you took this as an opportunity to focus on things like cross training. That was a message or theme I heard earlier. And now you have a team that is very agile. I wanted to ask you, Kevin, as a follow-up question, what are you most proud of? So let's put COVID aside for a second, because that's only our reality for the last 90 days. What are you most proud of, recent accomplishments with your business that you would like to highlight?
John, in an industry where, I don't know, a very significant percentage of our businesses, facilities, shops, MSOs closed down. We never closed. When almost everybody, I don't know if I've even heard of a business that hasn't laid anybody off, furloughed, or eliminated total positions. We've actually added people to our staff over this time. And although we're not up versus last year our Q2 was a record year for me in business ever. We're within a single digit. Not even that we could just adapt to our customers' needs, but that we were able to provide a service that they needed and that was so useful that even in the middle of all of this, the midst of all this going on, when they had a decision to make, we were still their decision to make. For me, that's a lot of payoff. And that you can't work on that for a week and get a reward. That's like a decade's worth of work come to fruition at once. So seeing my staff develop through all this too, and how we just kind of relished and been so thankful that in all of this and seeing so much trauma, getting 100 applicants a week for all the positions in my business, and my guys working away, knowing that we're trying to put out a product that's different than other people.
Yeah.
And when this kind of thing happens and we're not shrinking, closing, laying off
Yeah.
like all the other businesses in our industry,
Right.
it was very reassuring for all the work we had done.
Yeah.
And it was a big accomplishment. I mean, we win awards every
Yeah.
year, sometimes usually multiple awards.
Yeah.
And of course, getting to speak with you on a platform like this, I find so rewarding because I love talking about what we do, but I love hearing feedback about people who also have done things. And after this, a lot of times I end up talking to people I never knew before and say,
Right.
hey, I heard you talk about this. That would be probably what I'm most proud of. Yeah.
Well, Kevin, and that's what this platform is all about. That's what it's for. It's to give business owners like yourselves a platform to talk about, what's going really well in this industry. And after all, it's an industry that doesn't get enough profile, but we're doing some pretty cool things in collision repair. And it's a great segue to my last question, Kevin, is that, you talked a lot about different things that you guys do to differentiate yourself and your competitive advantage, and what makes you distinct and different. So what do you want to be known for amongst your community and your customers? When people think of Kevin Taylor and they think of Maaco Houston and your team, what do you want to be known for?
I really don't think about what I want to be known for as a business. I really want people to think about our business as not just a great service, but I grew up 4 miles from where I'm sitting right now, 3 miles from here. I went to church. I went to high school 3 miles from here. So I think that being known as a person who is looking to do things that are customer focused. Look, everyone's going to say high quality, fast turnaround, good price. We're doing that. What I really want to do is I want, when a customer comes in, to see the X factor that we're trying to provide. Through this process, I didn't talk about it earlier, but we've gone full disinfecting all the cars, but I've even bought an ozone machine and we can ozone sanitize a car where there'd be nothing that could live in it. You know what I mean? The point that we had that within a week or two of this whole thing going on, and we were offering that as a free service to people who brought the vehicle by, or a discounted service. Just being the customer focus side of this, where we're trying to find ways to service the customer, not even asking for. And when we do that, I think that the community sees us as not just a resource, but the resource for when they need automotive repair, collision, or when their businesses need it.
Right. That's a fantastic thing to be known for. So just to recap on a few things here, and there's a lot. Everything really is bigger than Texas. So, 18,
we're proud of that too.
Yeah. 18,000 square foot facility. I would say probably by far the largest in your community, if not maybe one of the largest in the state. Communication is a theme and continuous improvement that really stood out in our discussion today. And, the groundwork that you've laid to make that possible in any situation, someone that is not retracting, but is actually expanding despite all of the craziness that we're living through, and wanting to be known as a customer-focused business with an X factor. And, I would translate that down to a wow, giving the customer something they didn't expect or more than they expected coming into your business. Fantastic discussion, Kevin. Thank you for sitting down with me today. Final plug, where can we find you online?
Hey, John, first, thank you for having me on today. This has been great. My email, kevin@maacohouston.com. maacohouston.com is our website. Love to discuss with anybody, reach out, get the conversation started. I never have a conversation with a business owner, big or small. I don't feel like I get something out of it as well.
Yes.
But love to pour into it and just, like I said, find ways to get better every day.
As a fellow business owner, Kevin, that really resonates with me as well. So, thanks again for sitting down with us today. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel for Kevin Taylor's full interview and for more business owner interviews as we go across North America, Canada, and United States to talk to collision repair shop owners and hear their stories and their successes. Like and subscribe at CrashBay.com YouTube channel. Kevin, it was my pleasure.
Thanks, John. Appreciate it.